Tom Whitfield. I'm the independent candidate running for...
Tom Cotton?
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
So, yeah, I see y'all are out here today. Show some support in some way or another.
We support anti-BLM motherfuckers, so that's what we're here for.
Don't let the sun go down.
Don't let the sun go down.
So, like a sundown town?
Huh?
A sundown town? That's what they used to call them.
It's a sundown town, that's right, and we love Tom Cotton.
Okay.
We're Tom Cotton lovers around here.
And may I ask why you specifically support sundown towns?
Support what?
Sundown towns?
Well, every species on this earth has its own territory, except for one. Us, because we keep giving it away.
So, as species, you mean human being?
No, as species, I mean the white race.
Now...
Non-monkeys.
Non-monkeys.
You recording this? I hope so.
Oh, yeah, we're live streamed, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you do understand that African Americans, white Americans, Asian Americans, every single different race is still the same species, right?
No, sir, I do not. The wolf and the coyote look alike, but they're separate species. The jackal is a separate species.
And we are a lot more similar despite our different skin colors than...
We're not going to let nobody's coming to this town and knock the window out, I guarantee you.
Nobody's coming here to knock any windows out, don't worry.
They're doing it around the country.
They are.
They're our cities down, so why
They're blinding police with lasers. That's not protest. That's not...
Now, for here in Arkansas specifically, throughout all the BLM protests, there's never been violence or destruction of property.
There was a lower primate carrying a flamethrower trying to march on a home of a friend of mine, and I take that a little personal.
A lower primate?
Yes, a lower primate with a flamethrower. And I came across half the United States of America because I kind of object to that.
And did he use the flamethrower?
No, because he would be dead by now.
Are you registered to vote?
Yes, in Maryland, but that doesn't count.
Oh. Hey, how are you doing? Oh, pretty good, thank you. So basically what I'm here to do today is try to start conversations to bridge the gap, because there's obviously a difference in ideology.
If you want to bridge the gap as far as different ideologies, that's possible. If you want to bridge the evolutionary gap, I wish you would. We were made different for a reason. Even the media will occasionally admit that little fact. Remember when they found Chandra Levy's bones that entered in Washington, D.C.? The media accidentally let it slip that you can tell a person's race from the skeletal structure. You can tell a person's race by their brain, by their frontal lobes. So we are not all the same. We are similar. But similar and like is totally...
You might want to get a shot of this right here.
Yeah. How's it going, man? It's nice to actually have the face to the name, man. So...
Please don't tell me what the Klan did 100 years ago. Please tell me what Black Lives Matter did 10 minutes ago. They're shooting police. They're shooting 5-year-olds in front of their kids. If you've ever lived with blacks, if you've ever seen the people that they've hurt, and I've been on 3 continents, and I've seen their victims on 3 continents, I do not particularly like them, but that doesn't give me the right to hurt them. But I don't want nothing to do with them, and that is all freedom of association. If you're running for Senate...
are you touching my car, sir? Please stay away from my vehicle.
Stir up some shit in this town and see what happens.
Let's see. Okay.
Well, I think the civilized dialogue may have taken a turn for the worse.
Well, some people are not going to be willing to talk, but I'm willing to talk. I think that's how we're going to make progress with this.
People are willing to talk, but not too many are willing to listen.
I would love to listen. If you wouldn't mind listening. So, one of the things that we do need to address that's really important is BLM. We're not an organization here. BLM is just a movement to bring attention to inequality, a lack of justice, and which has led to no peace. And
the white nationalist movement is kind of a similar thing. It's a people's resistance to political correctness, which is a form of society destroying anarchy, which seems to only target white people. I don't see Africans becoming a minority in Africa. I don't see Asians becoming a minority in Asia. But yet, Europe, America, Australia, New Zealand, all at once. Don't you think it's just a little odd that every single white society on this earth all decided when it's just been time to disarm, to displace its own people, and to silence anybody who objects?
So
all
is
in
your...
this matter of the false god of diversity.
is the main concern then that we will lose the majority of white population in America and it will change?
Well, I think changes. I want to try and answer your question in a way that can't be misinterpreted. I don't really fear being a minority because that's going to be a temporary state of affairs. Once they're a majority, they're going to vote themselves anything they want. Once they do that, they're going to cause problems. You can't simply rob people blind 24/7 without repercussions. They're going to establish a tyranny, and that tyranny will be the basis for ending that tyranny. So no, I don't really fear becoming a minority. It's unfortunately, this country, it's not going to end well for your side or mine. There's too many people that don't belong here. There's too many ideologies that conflict, and there's simply not enough to go around. Earth is not going to support 7 billion privileged minorities who you say can do no wrong, but whose DNA says they can do no right. There's not going to be a future for everybody. Look me in the eye and tell me that 6, 7 billion, 10 billion people, they're all going to make 6 figures and have a house in the suburbs. It ain't going to happen. That's not racist. That's reality.
And I think, and that's part of the problem. And I think as we start to address things like that being the problem, then we can come up with solutions. Like,
the problem with doing that is every time the poor starving darkies are starving, then bleeding hearts want to feed them. And what do? They make more starving darkies. And eventually, we can't feed the starving niggas that we got. So why let us be prayed for? Why? Unless you really want to cause trouble.
And on that same note, like a majority of the people that are on government assistance are actually white Americans, not black Americans.
But they don't make a career out of it. There's generations of black people that have never worked.
And a lot of that comes back down to the systemic racism that is the problem of what these symptoms we're seeing are, like a lack of educational opportunities.
Well, this is people that sat in the jungle for centuries and ate each other. So I think their educational opportunities were somewhat limited. They have more.
Well, I'm talking about like our generations.
Before whites, they had no schools. There was no word for freedom in non-white cultures before they met us. Now, how do you explain that?
Well, actually, Arkansas.
One black man invented the wheel, the next black man would have been carjacking. That's what they are. There's a level they're not going to rise above. And where they do perform, where they do make any accomplishments at all, they seem to do better amongst all races. Just get enough of them together, they bring out the worst in each other.
And I think when you, like what you're kind of referring to is more urban areas that would be higher minority population.
No, actually, it's everywhere. From the jungles of the Congo to the jungles of Baltimore City and everywhere in between. Wherever you have them, you have problems. Even black people that have lived on deserted islands. Where's Sentinel Island off the coast of India?
Well, that's because...
That's Negroes that have never met a white man. So racism can't be their problem. You could go beat them, but you ain't gonna. So how do you explain that? How do you explain people that have never been exposed to this mythical beast you call racism have the same behavioral problems, if not worse? That's kind of...
And these are all different issues that aren't actually directly reflected upon, like here in America and what we're facing with our society and the problems that are causing these issues.
Well, the only problem is the people that seem to want to murder or mongrelize whites out of existence. If you destroy my DNA and my freedom, that's kind of a deal breaker for me.
Well,
I've kind of come attached to my DNA. It goes with me everywhere. I never leave home without it.
And it's really interesting because as a species, the human race, it's inevitable that we are going to mix and we're going to have a melting pot of cultural differences.
Pakistan has the same policy, and no, it's not inevitable. We're going to reach enough people in time to change it.
But how would you change it? Just kill everybody that's not white?
No comment. Whatever. The ends justifies the means when extinction is at hand.
But the ends never does justify the means.
Well, then tell that to the government because they're doing it to us. We did not start it.
The government has.
I did not decide to make Chinese a minority in China. They decided to make whites a minority in America and in Sweden.
But we're really not a minority, though.
Yeah, effectively we are. Considering how many whites hate each other, considering how many are breeding with the enemy, considering how many have a vested interest in our destruction. Yeah, we are essentially a minority as of now.
Good. The enemy?
And there's the exhibit. How the hell did he not be on the side of his own people? Who told you it was right to hate your own people? And why the hell were you stupid enough to believe that?
But you don't have to hate your own people to.
Well,
my wife.
He does. He just said it's good for them to be a minority.
I mean, my wife, she's from the Philippines, and I don't. It's not a problem. I love my wife dearly, but I don't hate white people.
On camera,
I
so
don't hate.
That girl, so your wife is going to kiss. No, that's your problem. If you do not value yourself, if you do not value your people, that's your problem.
So but I'm not asking for your help because I don't feel like it is a problem.
I think I just did. But for those keeping score, yes.
Oh man, this guy. My wife is not human because she's not white. Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with me. I appreciate it. What was your name, sir?
Al.
Al, my name's Dan.
Yes.
Al, fuck you, Al.
Well, you're not the
See.
first to say that. You're certainly not going to be the last. But